I am Mama.
And welcome back to Mary Hajjan Baba show. And मैं दोबारा आ गई हूँ एक बांग्लादेश की न्यू वीडियो के साथ. बांग्लादेश की इकोनॉमी पिछली जो मैंने वीडियो बनाई थी वो काफ़ी अच्छी गई है. उस पर कमेंट्स भी आए हैं. एंड अब मैं न्यू वीडियो लाई हूँ आपके लिए बांग्लादेश की इकोनॉमी पे.
अच्छा, ये एक बड़ा अच्छा चैनल है और इसमें बड़ा अच्छा एनालिसिस मैंने ये देखा और मुझे लगा कि ये मुझे आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहिए. तो चलिए देखते हैं. बांग्लादेश की इकोनॉमी से रिलेटेड ये एक छोटी सी जो है डॉक्यूमेंट्री है. देखते हैं इसको.
Hi,
Start.
I am Marley Mitchum, and I will be giving a presentation on Bangladesh that both myself and Abby Hudgens has worked on. The small country of Bangladesh, which sits just east of India, is home to roughly 166 million people. This places Bangladesh as having the 8th largest
बांग्लादेश का
population
आपने
in the
देखा है
world,
मैप?
and yet it is also one of the
ये वाला.
least developed.
ये वाला सारा
Up until recent years, this southeastern country in Asia has sat steady in the UN's underdeveloped status. However, since 2005, Bangladesh's economy has been facing a continuous pattern of growth, which has the country predicted to be labeled as developing by the year 2026. In this presentation, we will analyze the economy of Bangladesh and how they contribute to the rest of the world. To give a brief history of the country of Bangladesh, the country became independent from Pakistan in 1971. After that, Bangladesh Liberation War. Ancient Bangladesh, or Bengal, was ruled by the Mauryan Empire and served as a partition between different kingdoms.
1971.
Ancient Bengal was also an intersection of the southwestern Silk Road, which shows signs of their early trade patterns. Towards the end of the 16th century, Bengal was taken over by the Mughal Empire, which greatly benefited the nation's early economy and people. In the early 20th century, when Britain had control over much of India and Bengal, the country developed a plantation economy which centered around tea production and jute trade. The Dominion of Pakistan was formed in 1947, which had control over Bengal at this time, making for many years of tension between the two nations. This led to the Liberation War that Bengal won in 1971, with help from naval forces sent from the United States and the Soviet Union. The country has faced many generations of political unrest, which have in turn always ended badly for their economy, up until the recent years of growth that Bangladesh has had. The economy of Bangladesh is one that has been stuck in a state of poverty for many years. However, due to the government's dedication to improvement and progress, as well as the large percentage of working citizens, the country has been able to see advancements made towards the title of developing country. As of 2018, the GNI per capita in Bangladesh grew to be roughly 1,750. This showed immense growth from 2015, when it was only 1,190. Since 2005, the country of Bangladesh has had an annual GDP growth rate of over 6%. Due to the 2020 COVID pandemic all around the world, this steady rate of growth is likely to come to a standstill. But the country is still on track to continue improving their economy in the coming years. According to the International Monetary Fund, as of 2019, the country of Bangladesh has reached a GDP of 317 billion and an annual growth rate of 7.9%. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development reported that Bangladesh received about 1.6 billion from foreign direct investment in 2019. While this was a decline from 2018, that is attributed to the abnormally high level of FDI from 2018. Foreign investment is a priority for the government of Bangladesh. This is seen through the continuous growth of their export industries and yearly FDI level.
Agriculture production.
The economy of Bangladesh has long been supported primarily by their agricultural production, with 40.6% of the population being employed in this field. Rice is the primary export from this industry, but goods such as jute and tea are also very relevant players in the foreign exchange that Bangladesh practices in. Due to the location of Bangladesh, the agricultural industry has always faced trials of unemployment or non-farmable land. As a result, of weather and other environmental factors such as monsoons. However, over the years, the people of Bangladesh have learned to adapt through better economic planning and improved farming technology and techniques. Prior to their history of Pakistani rule, Bangladesh had faced many years of heavy dependence upon their agricultural industry. It was not until the mid-20th century that the country was able to really progress in their manufacturing and service sectors. In recent years, the ready-made garment industry has taken over as being their number one source of profit. By the early 21st century, the clothing industry that Bangladesh had now established a role in became far more significant than the agricultural sector. Bangladesh's RMG manufacturing industry is second only to China in profit and export. The top 5 exports from Bangladesh to the rest of the world were non-knit men's suits, which obtained 7.06 billion, knit t-shirts, which obtained 6.92 billion, knit sweaters, which obtained 5.71 billion, non-knit women's suits, which obtained 5.39 billion, and non-knit men's shirts, which obtained 2.5 billion. All of these come from their RMG industry. Roughly 20.4% of the population of Bangladesh is employed by these manufacturing industries. Aside from ready-made garments, Bangladesh also serves as a large source of exported shrimp, jute, leather goods, and tea. The service industry of Bangladesh, dominated mostly by their informational technology services, is also expected to show significant growth in the coming years. Exports from Bangladesh are primarily going to the United States, Germany, the United Kingdom, Spain, and France. The U.S. is the single largest export destination for products from Bangladesh. However, in turn, Bangladesh is only the 60th largest export destination for U.S. products. While a majority of Bangladesh's exports are being sent to Europe and North America, their imports are primarily coming in from other parts of Asia. Their top import partners are China, India, Singapore, Malaysia, and India. The top imports of Bangladesh are refined petroleum, 3.8 billion, raw cotton, 1.9 billion, petroleum gas, 1.42 billion, heavy pure woven cotton, 1.31 billion, and scrap iron, 1.1 billion. In 2019, Bangladesh was the largest importer of cotton in the world. The lack of natural mineral resources found in Bangladesh greatly contributes to the amount of petroleum the country imports each year, continuously making it one of their top imported goods year after year. The total amount of goods imported almost always exceeds the amount exported. The culture of Bangladesh is one of deep roots in their heritage and one that values their work and labor. With as large of a population as this small Asian country has, the people are heavily dependent upon their agriculture. About 58.7% of women in Bangladesh are in the labor force, as opposed to the 82.5% of men. And about 75% of all these laborers are in the agricultural industry. Female labor is primarily focused in lower wage jobs, such as agriculture in the rural sections of Bangladesh. However, due to the continuous growth of the manufacturing sectors, we can see an increase of female participation in these sectors as well.
COVID impact.
As of right now, the primary hindrance to the economy of Bangladesh is the COVID-19 pandemic, as is the same around the rest of the world's economies. This pandemic has greatly affected trade patterns in Bangladesh, as well as the people's everyday lives. With factories, farms, and plantations shutting down, millions of people in Bangladesh were left without work and without an income. Despite having years of growth in the decades prior, Bangladesh was not financially stable enough to make it through the pandemic without detrimental effects on their economy. However, now, in 2021, as export demands around the world are beginning to rise again, Bangladesh and the rest of South Asia are finding recovery from the past year of decline. Statistics from the past few months have shown that food security throughout these densely populated rural areas is improving, and percentages of people working are gradually returning to their pre-COVID state.
Future.
With Bangladesh's economy back on track to grow and progress, we can expect it to see the shift to developing country by 2026, as the United Nations predicts, or maybe even sooner. Economists around the world see that Bangladesh is an underrated player in world trade and global finance. Bangladesh has gone from being one of the most impoverished countries in the world to having a GDP of $302.6 billion as of 2019. This small country, barely the size of Iowa, has most definitely shown that it could be a potential economic superpower in the coming decades. Thank you, and this is our works cited.
वेरी गुड, बहुत अच्छी। और आपने देखा कि ना सिर्फ हर एस्पेक्ट के बारे में बात हुई, बल्कि जिन जिन सोर्सेज से इन्होंने इंफॉर्मेशन ली वो सारे सोर्सेज भी साइट किए हुए थे टू शो द ऑथेंटिसिटी ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन। और इस चैनल का नाम क्या है जी? मरले एम। अरे बहुत थोड़े इनके अभी सब्सक्राइबर्स हैं, लेकिन बहरहाल आई विल अप्रिशिएट, इनको सब्सक्राइब करें। इनकी एफ़र्ट जो है बांग्लादेश की इकॉनमी से रिलेटेड जो इन्होंने अपनी एनालिसिस दिया, इट वाज गुड। और हाजरा, अब क्या कहेंगे?
बस मैं यही कहूँगी कि आप लोग ना मुझे ज़्यादातर पार्क्स की या रोड्स नाइट, बेशक डे भी हो जाए, उस तरह की सजेस्ट ज़रूर करें। मैं उनमें ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टेड हूँ, आपको पता है। और बस इस वीडियो को लाइक करें, हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें, एंड वी विल मीट यू इन आवर नेक्स्ट वीडियो। टिल देन
अल्लाह हाफिज़।
इतनी फजूल वीडियो थी।
चुप कर जाया करो ना।